Well, y'all, I was gonna show you what I've been working on today and yesterday, but sun just ain't cooperating with me. But maybe y'all can make it out a little bit here. I've been doing a little bit of powder coating of the pulleys and brackets, and I decided to go with black with a nice coat of candy gold. I followed up with some regular clear coat, and when the sun hits it, normally bling and sparkle pretty good, but well, we got some cloud cover today. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get on back in here and show you what I'm working on today, because it's the weekend and it's about the only time I have to powder coat anymore, because it gets dark by the time I get off work. These large parts like this here oil pan. Now today my goal is to get the oil drain feed bung here welded in and get it powder coated this here same black and gold. That's a 3-stage powder coat there. And that I'm going to have to do in the big old barrel oven. I've been doing these other smaller pieces here in my little toaster oven. But that oil pan just ain't going to fit. Let's see, here we got the pulleys. I said you can't quite make out that gold sparkle here in the garage, but everything seems to be turning out nice. Yesterday I got the motor mounts done. They're a little dusty, but that same nice gold finish on them. And I even got the dipstick tube all straightened out, and I just did it with the Super Chrome Plus with the candy gold like I did my wheels. And yesterday I wanted to do a test to see if the powder coat, clear coat would do good on polished aluminum, bring y'all back out in the sun. So I shined up this aluminum ingot, and I just put a little bit of the clear powder coat on it, and it still stays the shiny, but you can see that the powder coat gives it an orange peel look, and I just don't want that. So I think I'll just stick with repolishing the aluminum. Yeah, that would make it so I wouldn't have to polish it again, but eventually, you know, develop a haze and it gives you that orange peel. So I decided I'm not going to do that. But let's get back to this oil pan. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I got to get my powder mess cleaned up from yesterday. Don't want to be welding around all that powder, but let me flip your oil pan over here. Because I done marked where I'm going to put the bung in. There's a spot weld right here, and that's about the perfect place to have the oil drain feed right here on the ka oil pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out that spot weld, and I'm going to pull this back a little bit, and I'm going to cut it off shorter after I waller out my hole there with my step drill bit here. And once I get the AN fitting, I'll re-tack this on 2 sides, just so I don't have 2 layers here where I'm welding in the AN fitting, because I don't want to try and seal up welding 2 layers of metal there. Because my goal here is I'm just going to drill the hole, poke it through, and I'm going to weld around this edge here. Just from the inside. I'm not going to weld it on the outside. And I could, and I might, if I don't get it welded on the inside good enough. But I think that'll leave for a really nice look on the outside. And I do got some caps for these, and I'll powder coat it with the cap on this fitting, so I don't get the coating in the threads. But that's my goal for today, is to get that welded in, finish getting this cleaned up, and try to put 3 layers of powder coat on it before it gets dark and cold, because it's supposed to start raining tonight, and it's going to rain all week long. So if I don't get this powder coated tonight, I'm going to have to wait at least a week before I can start powder coating. So I'm going to get this all set up and get to drilling, and I'll bring you back along the way and show you my progress. All right, y'all, so after I drilled that out, I cut off that piece of the windage tray there. You can see the big old hole I made, and I smoothed it over, rounded off the corners here. Now I've got it clamped in place, and I'm going to go ahead and put a tack on each corner just to hold it back into place. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my fitting in, get it held in place, and I'll weld it here on the inside. I just drilled out the hole with a regular bit, and then I used my step bit to get to the right size. I want to show y'all one more thing before I get y'all set up. Due to how close this is to the lip, I actually went ahead and ground a little spot here. You'll probably be able to see it better once I get the clamp off, just so there'd be clearance for taking the fittings off. In this case, I just got a cap on it, and I'll be using that while I'm welding, just so I don't gum up threads or anything. That's also why I'm trying to just weld it from the inside, but if it comes to it, I'll weld it from the outside. So let me get set up here, and I'll get y'all watching, and I'll get to tacking this in place, and I may have to stop and go a few times, but we'll get it done. I think I need to go a little hotter. Yeah, that's better. I think she's stuck there. Yeah, she ain't going nowhere. Get my finger back in my glove. I'm going to try and hold this just to get it tacked on there. There we go. Trying to get it fixed up so y'all can see. Things just ain't cooperating. Ugh, that's ugly there. Yeah. There we go. There's another magnet. I'll be able to get it set up a little higher like that. Hopefully then we can both see better. Well, I ain't the prettiest weld, but I got some good penetration in there. But I think right over here, I should go just a little bit more. Because I didn't have the get quite hot enough there for it to bind as well as I'd like. And there's just a little bitty hole there. Not one of any oil leaks. And I think that's got it. Get that turned off. Let's take a look at what I got here. little bit closer. It ain't pretty. You can tell that oil pan had a little oil in it. It was sweating out. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to leak at all. I have to do a little bit of cleaning up, but that witness tray's in there good. Oh yeah, you can tell from the outside here we penetrated. Whew. I'm gonna have to let her cool down, but I don't think I'm gonna have to weld it here on the outside. I think that inside's good enough. Well, I'll turn y'all off. I'll get back with you. Maybe when I go to putting some powder on. It's starting to get dark. We'll see if I get to it. All right, y'all, I got the oil pan preheating in the big old barrel oven. I got my air compressor all pumped up, and I got the powder coating filled up with the black paint, which is my first coat. And I'm fixing to go get the oil pan and set here down and get spraying the first coat of black primer on it. Well, the black color, the high gloss black. It's not Eastwood, it's actually a different brand, but I just keep reusing the same gloss black jar when I refill it gloss black. So I'm gonna go pull it out. I have to do this warm, and I have to do each coat back to back before it cools, because as you build up the layers of powder coat, it's not going to want to stick. And for spraying this one, I'm going to be using my slotted nozzle. I still have those available on eBay. This one works really good for bigger parts like this, but like when I was doing the pulleys, they had some intricate parts like down in where the screw holes go in the two-part pulley, and this little cone nozzle is just handy for getting down in those deep recesses like that. So those are still my two favorites. They're still available, but I'm preheating it because it is an oil pan. I wiped it down with a mixture of 50-50 acetone and mineral spirits, and that's also part reason why I'm pre-baking it and trying to get off any excess oil or things that might be coming off of it. And I can see the powder coating oven smoking out there. So I'm going to bring it in. It should be good and up to temp now. Alright. Let me see how hot we are. So you're not that hot. But it ain't going to read right because this is shiny. I found these don't tend to work and read well on shiny bare metal surfaces, so we're probably a little bit hotter than that. That's okay though. I was shooting for about 200 degrees for doing this. Get my little ground clip on here. I'm going to be carrying it with them tongs from the back side there because ain't nobody going to see that. I'm going to try and grab it in a different spot each time, but let's get to putting this on here. I'm going to try and get the intricate parts first. Get a little bit more pressure there. It's flocking on there a little bit. That's all right. With as rough as these oil pans get with rocks and stuff kicking up, I ain't too worried about getting a little thick on here. There we go. Get up under there real good. Come around y'all side. Especially when it's kind of heavy here on the sump. Every one I've had has been beat all the snot, and I've had to beat this one out already. So a little extra rock protection there ain't hurting a thing. Try and get it up over here. All right. Get around my bung there real good. Make sure I get some under it. clip off there and see if I can't just get a little bit to... I got a little bit on there. Alright, I'm going to take this back out, get in the oven curing out. And I'll bring y'all back. I got to recharge the compressor. Y'all can't hear me with it running. Clean up this black powder and get the gun all cleaned out and ready for doing the candy gold. Alright y'all, the black's been curing out at 400 for 10 minutes. I'm going to go pull it out and we're going to do the candy gold. Alright. There's that. Let's get our ground strap hooked on up. I'm going to just wiggle it right here on the edge. I'll try to where that bolt hole is. Alright. Now with this candy gold, the reason why I'm going to do another coat on top is because I'm just going to dust this on, so it's going to be kind of rough, kind of like you sprayed paint dry, because I just want a little bit of glitter on there. So after this cures out in the oven, I'll be putting on a nice thick coat of clear, and that'll bring our gloss back up. Let me get my regulator adjusted up here. There we go. So I'm just going to dust it on here. Not trying for anything too thick. Just trying to get it on there pretty even. This corner here is just always a pain in the neck. Let's see if I can. There we go. That got it. Check everywhere else. The round fitted and it's a little light. All right, that looks good. It probably don't look too good to y'all, but that's all it takes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put back in the oven and bring y'all back for doing the final clear coat, and that'll bring the gloss back. Alright y'all, I realize I keep talking about the barrel powder coating oven, but some of y'all may have not seen it. I did that earlier this year when I first started powder coating, and you can see my little propane fish cooker down there, and it's just a barrel. You can check my earlier videos if you're interested, but I'm coming out to do a temperature check. Of course, I got this barbecue thermometer on there just to kind of give me a general idea, and we're about 375. But I'm going to open it up and use my hour thermometer just to see that where the part's at 375. I kind of adjust the temperature here using the regulator and this just like you would on a smoker. So let me get her opened up. And you can see there it's starting to lay out. We're going to check our temperature here. And we're about 335, 325. Pretty even. I'm going to crank up the oven just a little bit higher because this needs to be up to 375 for that candy gold to cure out. And once we get there, I'm going to hold it just for about a minute. And then I'm going to bring it back in because the clear cures out at the same temperature. And I can cure them out together. The black's already cured out. It cured out at 400. And I just figured I'd show that for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. It has a bit of a bronzy look now that's smoothed out, but we need to get some clear on there and bring that gloss back up. Make sure this compressor's off so you don't kick it on and annoy y'all. All right, let's hook up our ground lead. Get right here at that bolt hole again. I'm going to wiggle it, make sure we get good contact. I got the Eastwood gun here loaded up with the Clear Vision Clear. Again, I'm using my wide fan nozzle and I'm just going to spray it on there. Lay it on, get a nice thick glassy layer on there. Again, I have to do this hot because of how many layers of powder are going on here. If I let it cool in between coats, I'll never get the powder to go on there. There just isn't enough charge with these little kits. That ain't super duper hot. And it'll get a little bit shinier here while I'm spraying it as it lays down a little bit. But it'll get really shiny after we cure it out there in the barrel oven. Again, I'm focusing pretty heavily here on the bottom, getting that extra thick there, just for some extra wear resistance. Again, my main complaint about these kits is that they could have made the wires just a little bit longer, and that'd have been nice. Another thing I make sure I do is I do not put the gun directly over top of it, because these do like to spit. It's not so bad with my new nozzles, but they'll still spit a little bit, and you don't want them clumps and chunks on there. Around that flange real good. And you also don't want to get on there too thick, because just like paint, it will run as it cures out. Now this clear cures out 375, which this is about 25 degrees cooler than that black, and you have to pay attention to the order in which you do this. There we go. See about them little spits there? That little bit will be okay. I don't want nobody to see it in the clear and it'll melt down in there. Yep, I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll bring y'all back to see it tonight, but you won't be able to get the full effect until I can get a nice bright sunny day and show you. So if I do happen to get a nice bright sunny day this week, I'll go ahead and record it out there in the sun, maybe along with some of the other parts I've done. Alright y'all, I brought it in and it's cooled on down. The garage here just doesn't do justice. The light here just don't really show off all the sparkles you get from that candy gold on that black. Like I said, I'll bring y'all back out if we get a nice sunny day, and I'll set this outside in the sun so you can see it. But I can pick up some of it. But it is a really nice finish. It turned out pretty good. Now, there's a few ripples here where I had to do some hammering to fix where that rod had made contact on the inside of the oil pan. You may have recalled from my first video, I was doing the disassembly. Had the rod come down, apparently before they rebuilt it, and strike here in the oil pan number 3. So I had to hammer that out and a few other dents and spots. But all in all, it turned out good. We got the bung in there. And I put a lot of extra powder on this here on the sump, since it's usually the part that gets hit by rocks and whatnot. Just wanted to give it a little extra protection, but all in all, it turned out nice. So be sure to let me know what you think, and hopefully there'll be another video spliced in here to show y'all what this looks like in the sunlight. Alright y'all, so we finally got a nice bright sunny day where I can actually show you what that powder coat and finish turned out looking like. So this is the finish we're getting on these parts. I know it's hard to tell there in the garage what I was talking about with that candy gold going over the black. But as you can see here in the sunlight, we get quite a bit of sparkle going on. And I think it's going to look really nice. Now I've got some more parts that are going to be getting powder coated today. I've got the water pump pulley and the alternator pulley and the power steering pump bracket and its other parts. Oh yeah, it's pulley. But I just wanted to let y'all see this. I know it's getting to be winter time, late fall, and the sun's hanging low in the sky. We don't have very many bright sunny days, but it's the only way I could find to do justice. So I'm gonna be getting back in there powder coating here on Thanksgiving week. I'm gonna be putting my powder coating nozzles on sale for the holiday season, so anybody who wants to get into powder coating can go ahead and get a set if they want. A nice little discount. So I'm gonna get in here and get to powder coating these other parts. Just wanted to show you what we ended up with here. Now this one here is the Candy Gold over Super Chrome Plus that I redid the dipstick with. And I just put a little bit of Super Chrome Plus and clear on the mounting bracket for it. But all the rest of this is a layer of gloss black, topped with a light dusting, as you saw in the video, of the Candy Gold. And then we put a nice gloss clear over top of all that just to really bring out the shine. But that's going to be it for me tonight. This was what I wanted to get accomplished Sunday here this weekend. So I spent all weekend powder coating parts. And now I'm going to get back on doing the head work. I got one heck of a mess to start cleaning up tomorrow. It ain't happening tonight, but thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned, because I think you're going to like seeing this motor go together. I got some interesting things in store as far as the transmission goes, and some other parts to the project.